we're going to have a look at how to write family members using kanji. And we're going to start over here with this kanji, which has a core meaning of father. Now there are two different words that you can write with this. You can use it over here on its own. It's then pronounced chichi, and that's its humble form. So when you're referring to your own father, you would call him chichi, and you would write it using this kanji. Now because it's the humble form, it can only refer to your own father. So you can translate it as my father. You don't really need to put the humble in, but it's used for my father. Now if we move down, we can see here, this is how you write someone else's father, and it's been translated as your honorable father. You would never use that to refer to your own father. When you're talking about someone else's father, this is what you do. Now you still use that core kanji meaning father, but you need to add an honorific o in front of it and an extra polite san afterwards. Now when you do this, the pronunciation changes from chichi to to, and you get o to sang, o to sang. Here's the pronunciation again in hiragana for you, oto-san. Let's have a look at how you write that character. Now the original picture was apparently a person holding an axe, and that was supposed to indicate a father, but the picture's very obscure, so we're going to use a much better system. We're going to think of the two top strokes, ichi, ni, as a rather nifty moustache, because some fathers do have moustaches. And then we're going to talk about the personality of some fathers, particularly when they're upset. They get cross. So here we're going to do the right hand part of our cross, moving from the right hand side towards the left, and then we're going to do the left hand side, moving from the left to the right. That's a little unusual. Generally with kakijun or stroke order, we work from left to right, but this one you have to remember that we're going to start on the right first, and then we're going to do the left. So there we have the character for father. Now we're going to look at the character over here, which has a core meaning of mother. Now again, when it's used on its own, it's pronounced haha, and it refers to one's own mother. You have to use the humble form. So the translation here is my humble mother. Of course, my mother is sufficient. If we want to refer to someone else's mother, then we need to add the honorifics in the same way as we did with father, and it becomes your honorable mother or your mother. Now we're going to add o, the honorific, in the beginning. Then we're going to use the character for mother, and we're going to add san to indicate respect. Now just as chichi changed to to, haha changes to ka, and we get o ka sang, o ka sang, o ka san. Let's check the kakijun. Before we learn how to write the kanji for mother, we're going to actually start by looking at this kanji over here, which means female. And then we're going to see how female becomes mother over here. But before I show you the kakijun, I want you to see the original pictures from ancient times, because I think this makes it clearer. Now here we have the character for a female, and these are from the bronze characters, so they're more than 2,000 years old, sometimes approaching 3,000 years old. And you can quite clearly see here, it's a woman kneeling down or bending down. As the characters become more modern, it becomes a little less easy to see that bending down shape, but it's still there. Now I'm going to show you what the character for mother looks like. Okay, we've still got the character of a woman kneeling down or bending down. Can you see that? But there's an addition here for a mother of these two dots. Can you see in each case, the top half of this female has got two extra dots, and that's rather a graphic illustration of the key feature of a mother, particularly a new mother who's breastfeeding their baby. So this is making a real feature of the fact that a mother has got these quite exaggerated breast shapes there. Now the character these days, it's a little hard to see that kneeling shape, so I've got a better way of remembering it. But because the two are linked, we're still going to look at female, and then we're going to change it into mother. Now for this female figure here, rather than kneeling figure, I'm going to focus on the female shape, those hips, which are a little wide in women. And we're going to start off down here with the left hip. And let's draw that in. So we've got the left hip, then we've got the right hip, and then we've got the arms going across like that. So left hip, right hip, and arms going across. Now for the mother character, we've still got the left hip, there it is, left hip, and we've still got the right hip, but in this case, we've got those two kind of joined together. So the right hip is going to go across and down like that, giving us a kind of a square shape. But it's still essentially this character and this character. Okay, then we're going to put in the breasts like that, and then we're going to pop the mother's arms across like that. So we get for mother left hip, right hip, breast, breast, and arms. The last character is a very simple one. It's just a person, and it's this character here. This is what the original character looked like, and you can see it really just does look like a most basic sort of figure of a person, doesn't it? As the character becomes more modern, it starts to be a little hard to see that person there. And then we go up to the modern character, and this is the way it was formalized almost 2,000 years ago, and these days it looks like that. So it's just a person. And here it is. This is how we draw it. So down on the left, down on the right, and there we have a basic representation of a person. Now we're going to use that character in this word here, nan, nin. In this case, it's pronounced nin. That character isn't always pronounced nin. You can see down here, this tells you the various different pronunciations that there are for the character. But in the case of this word, nan, nin, which means how many people, the pronunciation we want is nin. And you would use this word when asking how many people in your family. Nan nin kazoku desu ka? How many people in your family?